So in this moment, we must be crystal clear. We stand with Israel. We stand with Israel. And we will make sure Israel has what it needs to take care of its citizens, defend itself, and respond to this attack.
President Biden declaring the United States unequivocal support for Israel's war on Hamas and saying he intends to ask Congress to approve new funding for Israel. You are looking at live pictures right now. Look at those smoke plumes out of Gaza City. Airstrikes have been raining down on Gaza in retaliation for Hamas's siege. Moments ago, lawmakers are set to receive a classified briefing within the hour. Joining us now, one of the representatives who will be at that briefing is Democratic Congressman Dean Phillips of Minnesota. He is on the Foreign Affairs Committee. He's also the ranking member, I should note, of the Middle East, North Africa, and Central Asia Subcommittee. He traveled to Israel twice this year, most recently in August, and met with Prime Minister Netanyahu both times. Good morning, Congressman.
Good morning, Poppy. Good to be with you.
Just seeing those live images as we brought you in, you heard the boom there. You heard the strikes as they are ongoing. You met with Netanyahu twice. Given your recent trips there, those critical meetings, what is your assessment of how you believe Israel will respond in the coming days?
Well, sadly, Poppy, I think it's clear. There will likely be a ground invasion of Gaza. It's the last thing that Israel wants to do. It's the last thing the world wants to see. But it is the responsibility of any democratically elected government to protect its people. The failures of security and intelligence in the last week are graphic, and Israel has a responsibility. I ask Americans to recognize. Imagine if we had missiles raining on us from Canada.
Right.
You imagine if our own babies had their heads decapitated. Any human being, forget your race, religion, your politics. This is horrifying, and more than a congressman, I'm a human being, and these images and the depravity of Hamas has got to be addressed. They've got to be neutralized, and then, and only then, can we really plant the seeds of peace, which is going to be our next prerogative, and that's why I've been traveling to the Middle East to inspire that.
Yeah, and look, you have said to end this as quickly as we can pursue peace. That is your mission. The question remains how complicated it is when you have so many civilians stuck in Gaza and Americans held hostage and Israelis held hostage as well. We learned from Phil's interview with Matt Miller at the State Department that the U.S. is working actively with Israel, with Egypt, with our allies in the region to try to find safe passage. But as we understand it, the Rafah crossing into Egypt is not passable for them right now. I just want your reaction to this. Is one Palestinian American speaking to Jake Tapper just yesterday.
Is there anywhere for you to go to escape this barrage of missiles?
No, we tried everywhere. They say go to the shore, and then they bomb the shore next day. They say go to the north, and then they bomb the north areas next day. Like everywhere, they're bombing everywhere. So no place is safe here in Gaza Strip.
Do you believe it is crucial to find a way for people like her to exit before this ground invasion that you believe is coming?
Well, Poppy, again, as a human being, absolutely. My heart is bleeding for Israeli parents who've lost their children and for Palestinian parents who are suffering and losing their own and their lives. Of course. That's why I've traveled to Riyadh recently, to Jerusalem, to inspire what we hope and still expect will be peace between Saudi Arabia and Israel. We believe in that because we think that may be the beginning of the very peace that we've been seeking for a half century between Israel and Palestinians. But I want to remind people, Hamas is sworn to Israel's destruction. Hamas is sworn to annihilate the Jewish people. Until they change that disposition, there's going to be more death, there's going to be more destruction. And I ask, I plead, I invite Palestinians to recognize that principled leadership in this time has never been more important. And if and when they achieve that, there might be a chance, because then the rest of the world can push both sides together and ensure that we never see the images that we've been seeing this week. It's going to be difficult, but we must redouble our efforts right now, because the Iranians, their proxies, Hamas, Hezbollah, they did this to disrupt that peace process because it frightens them. And I want people to be well aware of what this is really about.
There is some division within your party, within the Democratic Party, within Democrats in the House, including Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, Cori Bush, and also Congresswoman Ilhan Omar of Minnesota, your districts neighbor one another. In fact, your website notes they are the only neighboring districts in America represented by members of Jewish and Muslim faiths. Here is part of what she wrote. I want your reaction to it, Congressman. Quote, instead of continuing unconditional weapons sales and military aid to Israel, I urge the United States at long last to use its diplomatic might to push for peace. What is your response to that in this moment?
Well, look, I don't want to get into these complicated issues on television, but I will say that there is right and wrong, and it's black and white to me right now. We have to support Israel. I mean, anybody who has seen what Hamas has done, anybody who knows what their charter reads, has to make a choice. I know reasonable people can disagree. I don't think that's a reasonable proposition. With all that said, yes, we should all have empathy for human beings, period, Israelis and Palestinians. I do not know why two things cannot be true at once. I take exception to some of my colleagues' support of some of the protests that have had swastikas presented and clear and sickening anti-Semitism. I just ask people to be objective and empathize with both people right now. But there is wrong and right as it exists at this very moment. And the United States will be on the side of right no matter what a handful of our colleagues think, because the overwhelming majority of Democrats and Republicans feel the same way. But let me remind you, Poppy, we can't do anything until we have a Speaker of the House.
That's right.
I also call on my GOP colleagues. My GOP colleagues are meeting momentarily after our classified briefing to hopefully choose their new leader who will become the Speaker of the House. Absent that, we cannot provide a dollar. We can't take care of Americans. We cannot take care of Ukraine. And we surely can't take care of Israelis in the way that we will need to if we want democracy to win at the end of the day.
Look, for your chamber to be paralyzed at a moment like this on the world stage is just stunning. You know,
it's embarrassing.